meats, how to eat raw meats. A lot of you are scared at the thought of eating raw meats. I have a slightly different perspective on raw meats, and that is raw meats are, or raw animal products are nature's gift to mankind. They come enveloped in the enzymes, the nutrients, the bacteria, the probiotics that you need to digest your food. One of the issues we have with cooked food is it is so cooked that your body has to exercise or secrete a lot of digestive enzymes in order to digest proteins. I noticed that vegetarians, people who are ex-vegetarians in particular, have a very, very hard time digesting proteins. And for these folks, if they're planning on eating meats or introducing meat into their diets, there's nothing as wonderful as raw meats once you get over your squeamishness. And this is my plate of Temple Creek chop. I took a Temple Creek chop. That is the marrow. These are the little bits of meat. And I had a chop about that big with a nice marrow in the center. And it was from a very, very clean source, which is our local grass-fed, grass-finished farm. And so what I did here was I cut it out of that. It was a pretty good sized chop. I got it for about $8. It's $10-15 a pound. It's very, very high quality, and it is wonderful. I'm going to show you how I eat it. But first I wanted to talk about the health benefits. We have turned into a culture that hates any kind of bacterium, but human beings have lived with bacteria, with beings other than ourselves for millennia. Did you know that 99% of you is really not you? 99% of the bugs that live on you are your bacteria, your viruses, your fungi, and only 1% of your cells are really you. 90% of all your DNA is really bacterial DNA, whereas we have a few dozen enzymes, or literally 3 or 4 digestive enzymes. The bacteria on our body, in our colons, secrete hundreds, literally hundreds of digestive enzymes. So we lose a lot by not keeping an open mind about the kinds of foods we eat. If you can eat meat that is grilled on a barbecue, that is hard like leather and pretty difficult to digest, folks, you can bring yourself to eat meat that is raw, from a wonderful source that smells and tastes like grass, and that over time actually gets better for you. The same thing with raw milk. When you leave raw milk on the counter, it clabbers, whereas pasteurized milk putrefies, because raw milk has a contingent, a huge amount of bacteria that change dynasties, if you will, phyla, and lo and behold, you have a much larger amount of lactobacilli, and the food clabbers into a delicious sort of clabbered milk. So you can drink milk that's sitting on a counter if it's raw. The same thing with butter. I have here a hunk of raw butter. Look how beautiful and delicious and just tasty it is. Smells like grass, tastes like grass. It is from Jersey cows in our area here, grass-fed, and picked. The cream was churned in May of last year. Actually, this is frozen and thawed butter, and it tastes just as if it was fresh. It contains the Woolsen factor. It contains a host of enzymes that are just wonderful for you. Anytime you eat a raw meat, so what I've done is I've taken this chop, I've pulled out the marrow from here. The marrow is very, very tasty, and there's a lot of connective tissue left here. If you can eat the connective tissue, by all means, knock yourself out. It just takes me an awful long time to chew through the connective tissue. It's like chewing through chewing gum. So I typically put this in my bone broth. So I'll take all of this leftover bone with the remainder of the marrow in it and the connective tissue and make bone broth from it. But what I am gonna do is eat this. And so I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see how I eat my Simple Creek raw meat. And so here's the meat. I am going to, you should never eat this straight because this is lean meat. You have to always eat it with fats. And so here's some marrow. Here's some butter, and I'm gonna cut that into small chunks. And I'm going to take this butter and put this on top of the meat so that I have some butter on this. It should always be eaten with butter. Butter, as you know, contains fat-soluble vitamins A, D, K, and E. And this meat is very, very easy to digest. It is really delicious. It is very delicious. Give it a try. See how you feel. You can try this with liver, kidney, heart, organs. You can also take this hunk of meat and put salt on it, cayenne on it, and lacto-ferment it. You just take it, put it in a piece of wood, salt it up, and put it in your fridge where it acquires more tenderness as time goes by. This is basically the fundamental principle of making prosciutto. You lacto-ferment your meat so that for a lean day or the lean months of the year, you have meats that are actually far more nutritive in value than cooked meats. This here is marrow, and it's really, really good. It's really good. And the hallmark of good beef, good meat,